there's this guy on YouTube called Legal Mindset who usually has a pretty good head on his shoulders. I don't like giving anybody on the platform a this guy's always right, but at least this guy's pretty educated when it comes down to how the law works, considering it's his job. He is a lawyer, and he actually weighed in on how fucked Denims and Caseytron and Hasan and Frogan are, and I think maybe even Sean to Black, but I'm not sure if that happened before this video happened. This was 5 days ago. He actually weighed in on how everyone in Hasan's orbit is, and if Ethan Klein's lawsuit has any weight. Now, me personally, I've spoken to a lot of lawyers about this, and everybody says they're around 90 to 95% fucked. And I think there's a reason why Hasan won't donate the $25K that Ethan wants him to his orbiters, because I think even Hasan knows that he got all of his friends fucked hard than how hard he fucks his friends when they beg him for a raid. Let's see what's going on here.
Without further ado, let's just jump right into it. We're just going to start with looking at his video, and this is I'm suing these 3 creators, right? And spoiler alert, I am not one of those 3 creators.
Yeah.
So let's get into it here.
Okay, that's good.
Hobby is spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on lawyers. Today, I invite you into my home.
Okay, first little comment here. And by the way, I am going to be pausing this all the way through. We're not going to just do a full watch through with I don't pause it. The lawsuit and the lawsuits could be hundreds of thousands of dollars, but honestly, the way he's dealing with it, he could probably get this done under 100K if he wanted to. And by the way, there are lawyers that will take this on a part contingency, so I'm not sure which lawyer.
Really? See, I was underneath the impression that this might take minimum 400,000. Maybe getting a lawyer and suing somebody for them causing you grief is a lot easier than I thought. I usually avoid pursuing lawsuits like the plague because they're a fucking headache. And I hate having to find times to talk about all this shit, then being told, well, it's $500 an hour if we want to talk. And I'm like, oh my God. But if you could really get all this done for under 100K, that would be great, actually.
Lawyers he's working with, but it's possible that he could get this done for under 100K. So I don't know about hundreds of thousands of dollars, but okay.
Home to share my favorite pastime with you. Join me in creating generational wealth for my attorney. Let me tell you guys.
Yeah, and by the way, I see people in the chat saying, is it burning money illegal? I don't think that was real money. I think that was a prop. I'm pretty sure that was a prop.
As a story.
As it was the same thing a lot.
About a year and a half ago, it's a big conversation called React-Gate. React-Gate was a debate going on in the streaming community about what constituted fair use. People like Hasan, XQC, and many of the large Twitch streamers would watch other creators' entire video on their stream. They would rarely add sufficient commentary or even pause the video to speak. Most egregiously, they would re-upload the entire VOD to YouTube with the same thumbnail, the same title, so that they could cannibalize traffic from the original video. Here's what.
Okay, let's start with that. So let's start with some basic principles because he's building a foundation here. So at the core of copyright, and of course, this is a very fundamental point, copyright protections do start the moment you create a work. But at the fundamental analysis, I'm going to really break it down, is, okay, you've got your protections, but there is this exemption. There is this exception for fair use. Now, fair use is a case-by-case analysis. Every single video is different. So while one video may be fair use, another one might not. And 2 judges can look at the same video, and one could think the commentary is fair use, and one could think it's not. So it's very difficult to nail a copyright case and say, yep, that one is. And
that's what's really scary about the law and lawsuits, is that there's been hundreds of thousands of people fucked just because of what was this judge's opinion on this. Because while everything can be handled by the law, you have to understand at a certain point, it's going to come down to someone's personal bias and someone's own opinions, which is really scary. Because then even if you have an over and shut, over and shut case, maybe a judge has a bad day, maybe the judge is woke as fuck, maybe the judge hates men, maybe the judge hates women. You can't have your entire life fucked by one person's day. And it is very scary when dealing with the laws, or with dealing with lawsuits.
It's transformative and that one's not.
Yeah, a lot of judges don't agree a lot of the time.
However, what he is pointing out is a problem on all platforms, especially regarding cannibalizing traffic.
Sure.
Because at the core of the analysis, and this is something I'm going to go back to time and time again, is are you using your video as a substitute for the original video? If the answer to that is yes, this is a substitute for the original video, someone would watch your video instead of the original, then the judge is going to weigh on those scales on the side of this is not fair use, this is not protected, and you are violating your infringing copyright. So this is not something that's black and white. This is not something that is super objective. It is a subjective analysis based on several factors. But that substitute angle is the most important thing you should think about. Are they trying to use this as a replacement for the original? And are they doing it by taking the original wholesale? And that's why I've always said, including on my channel, I've said, look, I don't have a problem if anybody clips my stuff, etc. The only thing that is problematic is if you take the entire video with no commentary, no clipping, whatever, and you just re-upload it.
Absolutely.
That is a problem. That is a substitute. That is saying, okay.
Yeah, I believe every creator should try to add their own spin, their own knowledge, their own humor, their own content delivery style to the videos. And I'll be real, there are a lot of content creators who I do use as a substitute for watching the original videos, because I'm not really watching the original video for the original video. I just like hearing people's opinions about that video, especially whether it's a topic that I'm kind of new to the space into, right? Like, for example, if I were to get into, let's say, sports and watch football, I wouldn't necessarily be entertained by just watching a football game. But I think I would go watch S-Fan react to a football game, because I know he has a lot of passion and a lot of knowledge in the subject, and I think he would be pretty good at transforming the product. Now, I don't think S-Fan is using his content to cannibalize that product, but I don't think it's really his fault that people want to use him as a substitute for actually watching the game.
Instead of going here, I'm just going to re-upload your video here. That's clearly infringement, right? So what these people are going to argue is, okay,
there's no way Denims going to argue this at fair use. She admitted her intentions. Oh yeah, absolutely. And S-Fan has never said, I'm going to go live to make it to where nobody watches the NFL, right? He's just like, oh, the NFL's live. You guys want to watch it? And that's it.
Okay, well, does sitting in a chair,
yeah, if they watch the game with the buddy, yeah,
fundamentally change that? And how much do you need to talk? How much do you need to interact? How much do you need to do in order for that to be transformative? Do you need to talk 10% of the time, 5% of the time, 25% of the time? What ratio of input is necessary for something to be transformative?
I think that you should increase the video length by at least 50%. And then if you're playing the video on 0.25 or 1.25 speed, like I usually do, because people talk dreadfully slow in today's day and age. My ADD can't fucking handle it. I try to increase the video's length by at least 30%, because obviously the video is playing 25% faster. I'm extending it by 55%. That increases it a net 30%, because the speed up, then the extension, bada bing, bada boom.
And that's a very important question. And I do feel that there are judges that could think either way. But we're going to get into it, because these specific examples are important. But more broadly, a lot of people do this. A lot of people just watch videos, sit in the corner in the little cube, and really don't add much, and really don't have much to add. And I'm not even going to point out whether it's educational or not. I'm just talking in general for commentary. Just sitting in the corner and not doing much. Yeah, that's not really adding too much to the overall conversation.
I think if Hasan were to upload a video to his YouTube where he chair reacts for half the video, I feel like it should be taken down 100%. There's a lot of videos, and Charlie does the same thing, and I myself do the same thing. If I feel like I haven't sufficiently added enough to the video, I just will not upload it. Yeah, I just won't. I don't want a bad react on my channel, you know?
What Lamino had to say about this phenomenon.
Because then it's just kind of disrespectful to the poster.
I don't mind people reacting to my videos, but I do mind when they play the entirety of my video.
Sure.
A face cam in the corner or the occasional interruption does nothing to address that issue.
Yeah.
My video is still being played from beginning to end in someone else's stream or video. It's neither ethical nor necessary to feature the entirety of someone else's work. Or, you know, they could do the bare minimum and ask for permission.
So I will say this. This is my comment on that, is that it sometimes is necessary to show the whole thing, because you need the context of the whole work. So if you're going to give an opinion, you're going to give a reaction, you're going to comment on something, you want to comment on the entirety. Just commenting on a clip.
And also asking for permission to react is also like, you know, yeah, let me just reach out to Mr. Beast real quick. Now, I do think a great option that YouTube should implement, and I think this would make YouTube a much better space. I think creators should opt into a React program. And what that React program should be is, are you open to other creators reacting to your videos? And if you press yes, then when you have a creator react to that video, you get somewhere between 25 and 40% of the revenue made off of that creator's reaction directly. And I think that would avoid all issues, who's allowed to react to this or not. And I also think it would make it very fair, or more fair, by us thanking you monetarily for us reacting to your videos. Now, that's not it right now, but I do think it would be great for the whole ecosystem of YouTube. I really, really do. I like that idea. Yes, same.
Can often be out of context. Oftentimes, if you just take 30 seconds or 45 seconds or 1 minute of something, that's not the full context of the conversation. And in fact, I would encourage people to look at the whole thing, because oftentimes people are not looking at everything they're saying. Now, mind you, maybe looking at like super
great Asmon idea. I am almost 1,000% positive Asmon has never said that. Now, Asmon may have said something like that, but I don't believe Asmon's ever said exactly like that.
for chats or something else, rewatching a live is not necessary. Okay, whatever. But in general, if someone is trying to give a message, you would want.
He did? No, he hasn't. And I bet you $1,000 he hasn't. You want to know why? Because I know what Asmon said. Asmon's direct take is that if you react to a video, that you give the creator 50% of your revenue. I think that's far too much. I also think it's hard to know who is willing to participate in that and or not, which is why I also added in the addendum of consenting to be reacting. That has never been said. And 25 to 40% is much more fair, because I think admitting that it's a 50-50, it's not really a 50-50. It's more like a 25-40.
Want them to fully respond to that.
Can you unconsent, then what? Yeah, just say, I don't consent for my videos to be reacted to, and then you don't react to it. And then if someone reacts to your channel while you say, I don't want my videos to be reacted to, you have free reign to copyright strike them. It's really that easy, right? It's really that easy.
However, you'd want them to actually be contributing a response, right? That's optimistically. But let's continue. And by the way,
nice math. Not 25-40 as in one gets 25, one gets 40. That's although that's almost the Twitch sub revenue. I mean, like somewhere between the 25 and 40% range for how much someone makes.
I've always said this: if someone is commenting on my stuff and they watch the whole video, that's fine for me.
So you make a video by video basis? Yeah, that can work too.
Feel differently about that, and many people, by the way, and you know, I'll know by the poll. Many people.
What about unconsenting 10 years after? Yeah, that's not how that works. It's a permanent setting.
Think reaction channels are just content leeches. So we'll see what the poll comes out. I'm gonna leave it up for a while.
Something that none of the major reaction channels have ever done when they've streamed or re-uploaded my videos. But to answer your question, no, I don't want people to stream or re-upload the entirety of my videos.
Now, understandably, this
you need to play some video games from time to time. Video games are shit right now.
Content thieves, essentially, get
They're
more
boring
views
as fuck.
than the author of the video, which in a lot of cases was happening. I
I
mean,
have no desire.
Okay, I'll tell you this. There's one reason why. Number one, the author might be boring as hell. They might be really freaking boring.
True.
Sometimes people are, they're just paint drying. So the person commenting on it can bring the animation, can bring the personality, can bring the comments that really bring it to life. And you see that with certain channels. I think Asmongold is a great example of he can watch something that would be objectively boring otherwise, perhaps, or maybe not that interesting. But then by commenting on it, it brings out a different facade, because you're bringing out a comment on an aspect of something. So saying, hey, this particular thing is interesting, let's talk about that. Or maybe it's something that's not said, right? So you're watching a video and they're talking about, you know, anything, right? You know, the crime of murder, right? And they're talking about how bad it is, right? But maybe they leave out false convictions and you want to talk about false convictions. There could be something that's brought up that's relevant that's not in the video. So let's continue.
People don't like injustice, and we all see this, and no, it's not right. This debate culminated when XQC, one of the prime suspects, called in at my show to debate me, in which case I'm sad to report that I was terribly owned.
So in that regard, do you care at all about like IP or copyright, or like the fact that it's illegal? Does that matter? That it might be illegal, does that matter to you?
No.
We can skip past this. We've seen
So
this
there's
before.
a key word he used, and
He starts doing the worm.
love that he used the French, because he's Quebecois. That is good. I will say, you know what? I'm going to give it a point on that. One thing he used there, an important word, is malicious. So key in on that word, because that may be the thing that screws the reaction channels that he's suing.
Yes.
And that may be the line that the judge draws between these people infringing and other reaction channels. Because by the way,
Yeah, like one of the big things that's really going to help me is the word malicious and a blatant disregard for the truth. Because people have had a blatant disregard for the truth with my case many, many, many times, because it fits their agenda to believe that I'm a villain to make themselves look better and to discredit me. But I promise you guys, I've lived a very, very, very good life, and I honor myself a very, very, very good man, albeit a little bit of a jackass. It's just disgusting what these people are doing, and they know what they're doing, and it's premeditated, and they do it to everybody, and I think it's gross.
by the way, I don't think he would win against other reaction channels. I think there's other channels that react to content or watch this whole video that he would lose against.
Absolutely.
But I think that word malicious may ultimately be the key.
Am suing, you'll see, are much, much worse. Now, ironically, after this debate and in the wake of this large conversation, the problem seems to have only gotten worse. You have people like Hasan Piker paving the way of fair use with what's known as chair reacts. When Hasan gets up to go to the bathroom or to eat or to talk to his mom or to do whatever, disappears for an extended period of time. There's a video playing for his chair. Mr. Chair, they call it.
IDF had warned people to leave the
That is
area
insane.
around the main airport in Sana. Then this.
That hypercut is crazy. Hypercut is still crazy.
And that's just the format and maybe the way it lends itself to. There are certain points at which, and I can empathize with this as a law tuber, if we watch, for example, a court case, there are points at which, if we watch an 8-hour-long court case, that we have to pee, or we have to go get some food, or we get a phone call, whatever, something.
Yeah. And you pause the damn video. You know what I mean? You just press the pause button.
Happens during an 8-hour-long court case. You got to get up, you got to do something, you got to use the bathroom. I don't think necessarily getting up once or twice. However, if the majority of the content or the video isn't,
I don't understand why anybody who's reacting, who fancies themselves a reactor, would willingly keep the video unpaused and walk away. That's admitting that you are not adding anything of substance or value to the video, and that those videos should be strucken down. That hypercut comp of Hasan was all of the times he did that in a month. Just a month of getting up and walking away and saying, I acknowledge my inability of someone of substance and able to extrapolate upon or provide further context to or enhance the vibes of the video. I am a failure at my job. I will just simply walk away and no one will care.
An empty chair or more time as an empty chair than you're commenting, yeah, I do think that could be a potential problem.
And it was in this setting that I formulated an idea. What if I could make a long form,
Oh, he's talking live trials? Yeah, sure, that's different. Absolutely, 100%.
irresistible piece of content that I knew that these streamers couldn't resist. They couldn't avoid the temptation of watching it the second it was published.
I don't have an issue with them.
It's not that I wanted these people to steal my video. It's that I knew they would.
See that, and that's the defining
Genius.
line, I think, that keeps it. You know, people mention trap,
Absolute
right?
genius.
Trap versus knowing someone's going to steal. So that's the dividing line. And if you
also can't commit entrapment as a civilian. Police officers can do it, but civilians can't do entrapment.
know the channels, it is pretty predictable that they would react to it in that way because that's what they do. That's what they do with everything, right? So if someone does that with everything, it's predictable they would continue to do that with future content.
I knew they would watch the entire video, add little to no commentary, react to it instantly, giving them no time to form an opinion. The trap was set, and it worked even better than I imagined it would. We captured pretty much every large streamer reacting to it in its entirety immediately after it was published.
I didn't react to it.
Excuse me, Ethan. Excuse me, Ethan. I did not react to this.
Neither did I. It is what it is. I said, too long.
I did not react to that. I did not react to that at all. Do you know why? There was no legal issue in that. So a lot of people wanted me to talk about that and wanted me to get into that. But at that point, it hadn't risen to, is there a legal question here?
Yeah.
What's going on? Is this defamation? Because he hadn't said, hey, I'm suing or whatever else. None of that was at stake there. So for me, looking at that, I actually thought at the moment to myself privately, this could escalate into something legal. And I was actually thinking at the moment, is this going to escalate into defamation, slander, some sort of, legal suit over what they're saying about each other? That's the
Oh, he said big streamer? Oh. Never mind, he's not talking about me, guys.
Direction I thought. And to be honest, I was surprised when it played out this way, when it played out the copyright angle versus a defamation angle or some other sort of angle. So this is actually, to me, was kind of surprising. And it was an interesting surprise, but actually a pleasant one because it gives me an opportunity to talk about the law in an objective way without going into the personalities themselves. So a pleasant surprise.
Now, the thing is, there were a few people that went above and beyond to commit copyright infringement. For example, Denims sits here silently with nearly 50,000 live viewers. That's 30 times her regular viewership. She's working directly with the Snark subreddit moderators to siphon views, and their intention.
So this is really bad. This is the really bad one.
Yep.
There's having a documented list.
I still don't understand why Snark subreddits are even legal. Because Reddit has a terms of service where they don't allow Reddits to, I guess, conglomerate, to coordinate on destroying someone's life. Yet H3 Snark is blowing up every single fucking day. I don't understand how it's even legal.
Where you can say, we're going to watch it without supporting H3.
Which, by the way, that's why I don't think LSF should be allowed, because let's be real, man. We all know that website is a coordinated harassment campaign towards anybody that disagrees with Hasan or Mizkif. Let's just be fucking real, guys.
It's intentional.
That shit is so brigaded, that's insane.
And that's where the word maliciously comes in.
A creator died because of a snark subreddit? Yeah, I know, it's fucking terrible.
Maliciously trying to siphon views and be used as a substitute. That's not good. That's not good. It's not a good look.
If you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime.
See, so that's where she screws herself.
Yep.
So she's literally saying, don't give views to it and give me money. That is the definition of substitute. That's where she screwed herself. She's literally saying, I am the substitute. Give me money. I am making money instead.
It turns out they just do it for you. You couldn't cook up a more incriminating
begging for money isn't really new for Denims.
Statement if you tried. Denims, the queen of self-owning, you prevail again. There's one thing about copyright you should know is that you got to register it before you publish to be eligible for statutory damages and attorney's fees, which is the main biting force of a copyright infringement lawsuit. Well, I'm happy to tell you guys now, I, Ethan Klein, have registered Hasan Piker Content Nuke with the United States Library of Congress. Some of you guys out there sweating? Even though theoretically I could sue a lot more creators and rake in millions of dollars. But the purpose of this is not financial gain. People like XQC and Asmongold may have watched the entire thing, but I would never sue them.
He would lose. So this is where I think he would lose. I don't think he would win against Asmongold. I think he would 100% lose, probably against SQC as well, right? I haven't watched SQC's video on this. Watched a little bit of Asmongold's, which I can say that, but I'm very certain he would lose against Asmongold.
Just for doing that. I don't want to chill the reaction community into fear. Actually,
By the way, Legal Mindset just said that Asmongold adds to his videos and XQC doesn't. And that's why he's sure that Asmongold would be fine and XQC is still 50-50. That's what's hilarious.
I hope that we can all
the
unite
shade is
against
insane.
This type of egregious behavior that not only makes us all look bad, but could destroy the commentary community as we know it.
Well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime.
They all met this very specific high bar of criteria that I set forth earlier. These people were not targeted based on their gender, their identity, their political beliefs. All three are on this list.
But they should have been.
They're the only three, as far as I could tell, that react.
Yeah, Ethan went into this video and was like, no blacks allowed. No blacks allowed to react to my video. No filthy fucking women allowed to react to my video. Hell no.
To the full video. Drum roll, please. Who's sweating at home, guys?
Here we go.
Caseytron, the queen of ripping farts and bong loads.
Yep.
Dog, what do you look? You think I made this?
Frogan, who bless her soul, she's still rising.
Can I walk away and use the bathroom? Do I have permission? Can I use the bathroom?
Such
please?
a
I'll leave
loser.
it playing.
Such a loser. It's insane.
Apparently thinks Twitch is liable for me interviewing a Yemeni teenager who's only known genocide his entire life.
What happened?
And Denims, the queen of self-owning. And my God, is she the queen of that?
It's very obvious from the way that guy's talking, he's a Sneeko fan.
Oh my God, bro, I love you, Hasan. Can I give you a hug, bro?
I'm so sweaty, bro.
I love you, bro.
None of the hostages that have been released so far have said that they have been raped. The hostages have public statements. You can go look at them.
The sexual assault I experienced should never happen to any human being.
This Yemeni kid is just a Yemeni kid with a gun and is not a Houthi, and there is no proof of him being a Houthi.
Are you a soldier? Yes. That seems pretty definitive.
He never said Hasan Nasrallah was a good guy.
I can't believe I'm calling Nasrallah base. I mean, listen.
Now for the fun part.
She really is one of the dumbest motherfuckers on this platform, man. It is actually fucking insane. It is shocked how fucking stupid one woman can get and be so oblivious to how truly stupid they are. And it kind of freaks me out that there are people who can be that dumb and not realize it. It's scary what an army of simps can empower a woman to do. And while everybody's sitting there jerking their little woke dicks off to that stream, they're just blindly agreeing because they're about to blow their load. It is wild. They're just phasing out of the conversation. Huh? What? Yeah, W. Oh! Imagine Johnny Somali married anyways.
Let's take a look at the...
Once again, I'm just commenting on the legal stuff, not the opinion stuff or the substantive stuff or the underlying issues, right? So, their individual opinions on their disagreements with each other, et cetera, that's not really relevant to copyright infringement. So no comment.
Complaints. And let's start with my favorite of the three, the very own, the prestigious, the highly acclaimed, the highly analytical Caseytron.
A lot of people have been wanting to watch this. without necessarily supporting Ethan Klein. So we're gonna watch it.
Well, that's a really dumb thing to say, don't you think?
Yes, he's correct about that.
Yep.
Her saying that without supporting Ethan Klein, once again, that's a substitute nature. So that's where he gets into, that's where he's hitting it on the head. And that's, you know, I assume Ethan has had a conversation with his lawyers. Unlike many other creators who just get on and blab and run their mouth, this is a pre-recorded video. It's not a live. So I'm sure he sat down in a conversation with his lawyers. I'm sure his lawyers watched this video and they're like, yep, looks good. Send it out. So, you know, that's something that is a check mark in his box on that side.
Caseytron smokes 42 times during her reaction. And just as a silly thought experiment, we thought, wouldn't it be funny if she spent more time smoking than she did talking? And thinking there was no way that that could be true. Well, we tallied them up. And lo and behold, there's 15 minutes, 40 seconds of commentary versus 18 minutes and 55 seconds of smoking. She spent 3 minutes and 15 seconds longer smoking than she did talking in her quote-unquote reaction. And whatever talking she did was just to express how confused she was, presumably from smoking 42 times.
What is happening? I'm trying to follow. I've lost the plot.
The complaint continues. Indeed, Caseytron is often too obliterated to comment on the news.
That's insane.
And instead stares blank.
This is good. This is good legal writing. Like putting obliterated. The word obliterated is funny, but it's not inappropriate.
Yep.
It's not inaccurate.
Yep.
It's good legal writing. This is very good legal writing.
Absolutely.
At one point, she's so wasted. Like, once again, it just makes you chuckle a little bit, right?
Yeah, and to court public opinion with a little bit of humor is also really smart. Whatever lawyer wrote this is a fucking genius.
And that's what the judge is doing. The judge is a human being. They're not a robot.
Stating outright that her intention of doing this is so that people who don't want to support me can watch it through her is why copyright infringement laws exist.
Oh, absolutely.
You could not and should not do that, especially if your commentary consists of you taking bong loads. At least try to engage with the content. Whoa, what was that? Oh, sorry. That was a flying
Yeah, Caseytron takes bong loads. Denims takes, well, anyways.
star. It almost got me. You know her and you love her, guys.
And what is good here, and this is something that was pointed out over my locals, I do like that he's like, let me page back here a little bit.
Frogan. It almost got me. You know her and you love.
Okay. I do like that he's showing the complaint because she.
Another little spicy little take. I think Frogan, and don't get me wrong, guys, I think Frogan is bad. I do. I think she's really fucking bad. But she's nowhere near on the same level as Hasan and Denims. Frogan is just a lolcow that everybody likes to make fun of because she's so fucking dumb and she's so unaware of her own actions. And she's just said the dumbest shit, but she's all honestly just stupid and harmless, right? Denims and Hasan are, and like Mike from PA are stupid and harmful, right? So Frogan's like a level 1 crook and the other 3 are level 99 retards. You know what I'm saying? And she's getting fucked by association right now. But honestly, she has no career if she doesn't have association with those 3. So it's you know, she's chosen her path, man. She's chosen her path.
He's showing you actually filed. You know, when you see the complaint, you know it's real. You know it's filed. It's not just talking smack. It's not just something that you're thinking about doing. You've actually filed. You've actually filed. It's great.
Love her, guys. Frogan. Reaction by exiting. Here she is getting up to leave the video running as she steps out of the room. Is that transformative? We'll decide. She said, quote, "It's time to watch the new nuke ethically. Hell yeah." Huh. Very smart to say on camera, by the way. She said, quote, "Thank you guys so much. I do appreciate everyone's support. Thank you for watching it with me." Well, you are so...
Yeah, because that implies that it's unethical to watch it without her. So yeah, I can see those grounds to sue her there.
So welcome, and I'm so glad that you were able to enjoy that day.
I think Denims is the most fucked. Absolutely. And I'll be real, I don't really give a fuck what happens to Caseytron or Frogan. I just don't care. Like, Denims is definitely the real perpetrator here. Obviously, I believe all of them should face justice, but Denims is the one where it's like, okay, dude, there's literally no skirting around this.
As lazy and pathetic as her reaction is, this is not why she's getting sued. This is.
Thank you guys so much. I do appreciate everyone's support. And thank you for watching it with me. First time viewer, time to watch the nuke ethically. Hell yeah. I found my way from Reddit. Hi guys, welcome Reddit people. Reddit people, Reddit people. I came from the Star Reddit. Ethan is so pathetic while Hasan is in Japan and father having a great time. Exactly. We're gonna watch it live, yes. He doesn't want people to know when it's dropping because we're all watching through other streamers. And I suggest you all watch it through other people as well.
It's the see that's the comment. That's the comment that damns her right there.
I also think it's disgusting how they're communicating with a Reddit focused on ruining Ethan's life. And that's where I just think it's completely unacceptable to even consider these people human beings, because anybody who would actively pander to a schizo community is disgusting.
It's not the chair stuff. It's that comment.
Yep.
I actually think that's the thing that the judge could come down and say, yep, because you literally said that.
Yep.
You said, I would advise you don't watch his video when you watch us. That might be the thing that they draw the line and say, that's where these people crossed over. See, Denims did it. She did it there. Very clear.
Frogan makes the same face when she sees a Twinkie.
Very clear that she wanted to substitute for Ethan's video.
I learned not to steal when I was 5. Up next is Denims. And honestly, just take a look at this, guys.
Yep.
It's a nightmare on Denim Street. Not only did she...
Okay, that's kind of... I think they... Okay. Okay. Real quick. The Caseytron one, she smoked more than she spoke. That was funny. Nightmare on Denim Street. I think that's a little pushing it. That's a little pushing it. They could come up with a better one than that.
True.
I'm gonna objection on that one. I mean, I like the legal humor, but that one, I don't know.
Denim said, quote, well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, give me a follow, subscribe, throw a prime if you like my content. Your content? The Queen of Self-Own and countdown timer, so we could tell exactly how long she was away. After being gone for a few minutes, she returns and then sits silently for another couple of minutes eating.
I'm gonna go pee, and hopefully, when I'm back, they're done with this.
God, she's such a loser. Holy fuck.
Saw that.
You do look better.
Mr. 305. I see it.
I remember when I dealt with Atsu and Envy that I thought there's no way, because Atsu was my previous #1 guy who had a goal on trying to ruin my life. Then it was Enviosity. I never could fathom it ever getting worse than these two, like ever. Oh my God, those two are like ants compared to what I'm dealing with now. Like, dude, if Atsu and Envy were to do the same shit they did to me 4 years ago today, I would literally hit him with a, anyways, y'all are gay as fuck, and then continue with my day. We really went through a training arc, huh?
Dude, you should do this.
I have an alternate.
We're relying on you to stay live so we don't give more views on the nuke. Yeah, I'm gonna stream it. Since he confirmed it's coming out today, we're gonna stream it. If you want to watch it with someone else who's already watching it, you know, come enjoy the watch party somewhere else. If you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow,
misplay,
subscribe, throw a prime.
Dumbass.
If you like the content, if you enjoyed your time here, because I'm gonna be honest, I did not want to watch that by myself.
Let me also commercialize it by asking you to reward me financially for stealing his content. That is like chef kiss. By the way,
so that's where we get into. So somebody mentioned statutory damages. So statutory damages is something that's prescribed by the statute. But beyond that, you can say, hey, I lost revenue, and the revenue they gained, I would have had.
Yeah.
So you can make that argument for that revenue in addition to the statutory damages. See, so there's a large amount of damages. Just because there's statutory damages doesn't mean you're precluded from going after compensatory damages or other forms of damages, right? So that's an additional. It's like an and one. It's an extra point. It's a it's more, right, than you would normally get. So that's a good thing, at least for Ethan, if he wins.
Always delivering the goods. She went on this dude's podcast to debate fair use. And would you be surprised if I told you she said a lot of incriminating things in that podcast? The Queen of Self-Own never disappoints.
I want to be clear on my opinion on like filler content and stuff. Like I think filler content, like you shouldn't do it. I know I do it as a React stream, and I try to do it only when I do it with like Vox videos or Vice videos and stuff like that, because at least I'm not like directly ripping from one content creator and not like a whole team and stuff. And most of those videos have like 5 million views. I only get like 500 viewers. I'm taking maybe 50 views from the video. It's a lot harder to feel like, I guess, bad about that. Whereas like I would feel very bad about doing that to like a single content creator.
That's not how the law works.
Yep.
By the way, that's not how the law works.
I know.
The law doesn't care whether you are a large creator or whether you're a small creator, and that's not going to matter at all. Her feelings, once again.
Yeah, I would love for her to pull the misogyny card in court as well, man. We'll see how that goes.
And like what she says there, she says repeatedly, her feelings. I would feel. The law doesn't give a shit about your feelings.
No, it doesn't.
It is what it is.
Yep.
Right? Regardless of whether you feel bad about it or not. Some people don't feel bad about stealing, but that's still a crime.
Yep.
Right? Some people don't feel bad about murder. It's still a crime.
Yep.
Whether you feel bad about it or not.
That, my friend, is called theft, and you're a thief. And now I'm suing you. This is just a testimony to how brazen and how safe they've, gotten. That she thinks she can go out in public on video and say, like, I'm stealing this content because I want to. I'm coping even though I know it's stealing.
Yeah, but to be fair, she's just a whittle guy. So the law doesn't matter anymore. And she really feels like Ethan's misogynist. Yep. And she really feels that Ethan's racist. So what do you think about that, Judge? Oh, you don't have a Twitter account? Oh, you don't care? Oh, I'm going to prison.
When people watch it with me, they're definitely not going to go watch the original. Like, you are way too comfortable.
She thinks she's smart? Well, it's kind of humorous that you'd think that she has the ability to think.
Well, committing crimes out in the open. Well, there you have it.
I do appreciate he said that is not a crime, it's a civil offense. Yes,
Yeah.
that's a good, his lawyer probably caught that one. You can tell the lawyer watched this one because that's a good clarification. It is not a crime. It is a civil offense.
3 separate lawsuits for 3 separate geniuses. Now, I want to make it clear again, and I hope it's been obvious about why I'm suing these 3 people and not others.
And here's a great example of React content being transformative. I have already seen this video in its entirety, but now watching this gave me the ability to now also hear insight from Legal Mindset. And that's the reason why I don't consider a lot of React content cannibalistic in nature. Because every creator, you're going to them for a specific reason for what input they're going to give. And I'll rewatch videos by other creators just to see how they reacted. It's the same thing with developer live streams for gacha games.
People not only violated all of the principles of fair use.
Bro, you're being promoted on YouTube? What does that even mean?
That's the part that really got me. I think if you're a reactor on Twitch, for the most part, if you make a good faith effort to comment, and if you make a good faith effort to promote the author, to link to them, to try to drive traffic to the original video,
There's not a YouTube front page.
I think you're probably pretty much doing the right thing. And
Okay, so now he's making a moral argument here. So I'm gonna push back a little bit against Ethan, a little bit. He is now making a moral argument. This is not the law. The law is not good faith effort. It's transformative. Transformative, could be something that he might not consider a good faith effort, but it might still transform the content, right? So that's a little bit, he's going into an area where, okay, I see where you're going and you're leaning on the moral side. If your definition of good faith effort is transformative, okay, yes, but that's not necessarily where the line is drawn. But I see what he's getting at.
And that's fine. And I would never sue someone for that. Take it to these 3 absolute morons to state their intention.
We need to bring back the word buffoon. Like, that's when you dunk on someone.
To steal my property on video. And to all the detractors who are saying that I'm targeting women, that I'm a hypocrite for suing for copyright infringement, I just have this to say. I don't care. What I do hope, though, is that you'll support it.
That line was so badass every time.
I don't care. What I do hope, though, is that you'll support their crowdfunding efforts to defend themselves. Because let's face it, I want to make sure there's money left over for me when I win my lawsuits.
True.
Thanks for watching, everybody. It's been a great time. I'll see you around.
Okay, absolutely based, gigantic mic drop, bro. God, this video is so fucking good.
That's the video there. That's what we have for that one. Interesting.
I think they're 90% fucked. I think there's a 10% chance they can skirt around this. I think 90% of the time they're fucked.
I think, once again, my final assessment here is that Ethan does have a chance to get past the motion to dismiss, to get past the slap statutes, and to get to discovery. I don't know whether he will ultimately prevail at trial, but I do think he has a good shot. I think he has a very, very good shot with these 3 specific targets. And I will say at the end, he said, how are they picked? I mean, people will also say, and I see people saying in the super chats that they're all, Hasan orbiters. Okay, that's fine. Obviously, there's a personal grudge, but he did not choose to go after Hasan.
Absolutely.
He chose to go after these specific people. And those statements were very damning.
Yep.
Very damning.
Yep. So I'm glad a lawyer also agrees that they are fucked. To quote a great man, 620% fucked. Yeah, boys. We might be seeing the grand cooking happening live, and I am praying to God we can live stream those trials. Wouldn't that be cinema?